23 years old, and I do have a nickname that I like to go by. It's Denny. It's actually I changed my identity when I came here. I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to leave the past behind and start all over. And my real dad, he got involved with gangs and he got into drugs. He was actually smoking. He was smoking weed. My mother eventually came in from work, and she was really, really mad. My mom asked him if he wanted to get rid of that or be with the family, be with us, be with the children. And I do remember him saying that he didn't want nothing to do with us. He wanted to stick with his gang, and he loved drugs. It was hard at the time not to have a father, a role model, someone I can look up to, and by him making that decision made me feel like he was a nobody. After the year was over, my mom happened to met my stepdad. They met through work. First time I met him was a Mother's Day. That happened the day that my stepdad brought us back to the United States. TJ and Malibu was a whole different environment. It's different. And Malibu was really rich, high class, big houses, very expensive things, cars. Just everywhere you look, restaurants. I was probably 9, maybe 10. I guess we had bad manners. We didn't have table manners. We did just barely came back from TJ. We hardly took a shower every day, maybe twice a day. It was more like once a week, or maybe every other week. We're little kids. We don't know any better. So the best way that he thought we would learn would be to be on our own. And we didn't look at it negative. We just, we were mad. We wanted to be with them. For I don't know what reason, there was one night where I couldn't sleep, and I decided to go for a walk. So I got my stuff. My brother was sleeping. I got out, left the motorhome, and I actually went up the hill where my mom and my stepdad were living at. So I went up the hill, looked at the stars, looked around. It was dark. There's no electricity. There's no lights. There's no street lights. There's nothing. It is pitch black. I do hear some screaming or crying, and it's already late. It was already like 12 or 1 at this point. I start going to the house so I can see everything. They were in the kitchen, and I saw my stepdad hitting my mom. And when I saw that, and I saw her crying, and I saw her arguing, like they were arguing, like I was thinking, who's gonna help her? Whoa, what's going on? They make it seem like everything is perfect during the day, but there's a lot going on at night. There was so much anger in me that came out of nowhere. I was just mad. I started grabbing rocks. There's a lot of rocks everywhere. And I actually, with the rock, I started hitting on the door, on the window glass door. And then they actually stopped for a second. And then I see my mom. She was crying. She was upset. I think she was holding him. And then he let go, and he turned around, went to the, kind of washed his hands or something. I don't know what it was. And then she looked at me, and she put her head down, and she started running towards me. It's like, you should be in bed. I don't know what you're doing up. I'm like, well, what's going on here? I don't. And then she's like, don't worry about it, everything's fine. Then I was like, I told her that nothing's fine. So I grabbed the rocks, and I'm gonna start breaking everything in this house. So, that was a bad day, bad night.
Well, we are extremely proud of Danny. I actually met Danny when I first came to WTLC. I was the director of the outreach program. I'm Rocio Watson. I'm the executive director of WTLC. I've been with WTLC for the past 5.5 years. WTLC happens to be the largest domestic violence shelter in Orange County, the 3rd largest in the nation. It is also the only domestic violence shelter that serves the human trafficking population. We have a very strong substance abuse program, which makes us the only domestic violence shelter with a dual program. We work with folks who have mental health issues, severe mental health issues. And we're also one of the few domestic violence shelters that is able to accommodate large families and teenage boys over the age of 13, which in Danny's case, when he came in, typically he would have been 15 at the time. His family, his mom would have had a very difficult time finding a shelter that would be able to accommodate her family because of Danny's age and gender, which is unfortunate. But WTLC took that first step and being open to work with older boys, and we are now the pioneers in that. And most often, families like Danny will come to WTLC first because we're the only ones that can accommodate them.